Welcome everyone. My name's Scott Hebbard from Sparx Systems, and today we're going to continue looking at use cases. So today's topic is intermediate use case modeling, and I'm joined today by Stephen. Welcome, Stephen. How are you today?
Very well, thank you, Scott. Glad to be here.
So interested to see what we're going to look at as far as intermediate use case modeling. So tell us what are some of the things that we're going to cover, and what are we going to look at today?
Thank you, Scott. Thank you for the introduction. What we're going to look at is an intermediate use case modeling, and this is going to extend the information that we've already looked at in the introduction to use case modeling video. If you haven't seen this video, I encourage you to go back and have a look at that video. So let's have a look and dive straight into this. What you can see I've got open is the Welcome to the Urban Parking System repository navigation page, and we have a number of navigation cells here. I'm going to click on the behavioral models one and click through on that, and you can see we have a number of different behavioral models. The one that we're interested in is the parking meter system use case model. So we'll click through on that, and you can see the use case diagram here with some of the key components which we'll look at. We have a box in the center of the diagram, which represents a boundary which defines the limits, if you like, or the scope of what we're talking about in our use case diagram. Inside that box, we have a number of ellipses, and these are the use cases. And outside the box, we have actors. And here we have a motorist and maintenance staff. And also outside the box, on the other side, we have another actor, which is the payment system. And notice this is represented differently, and you can see that from the legend that this is a system actor, and we represent that differently so it's not confused with
Are the system actors automatically represented as a square like that, or is that a choice that you've made in designing and modeling this diagram?
Yeah, that's a choice, Scott, and what I can do is right mouse click on this here and go into appearance there and say use rectangular notation. So that Excellent. Puts that use case into that shape, and it's less confusing for an audience. Much better to do it as a rectangle there.
It makes much more sense because otherwise people are expecting a human form. So it helps to differentiate it. Great.
So let's get started. What we're going to look at now is applying some or adding some relationships to our diagram, and we can generalize actors and use cases. So we're going to look at this motorist actor, and we're going to generalize it or make a more specific example of it, if you like. So we can create hierarchies of these and give the actors different relationships to use case and different properties. So before we do that, though, you can see underneath the actors and the use cases, we have some text saying from actors and from use cases. What this is telling us is the package or the namespace that these elements belong to. We can see that these are use cases, and that's pretty obvious to us. So I'm going to turn that off in this diagram. And I do that by going to the properties window here and going to the diagram and saying show namespace. So I'm going to turn that option off there, and that will remove those from the diagram. It's less cluttered then. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another actor in here called a premium motorist. So we've got just a normal motorist, and what we want to do is create a premium one. So I'm going to drop another actor from the toolbox onto the diagram, and I'm going to call it premium actor. And remember, Scott, that we always like to add notes or descriptions into our model. So immediately I'm going to do that. It's a good practice for people to get into, and I'll put that there. And a specialized type of motorist who has subscribed to a premium membership plan offering additional benefits, etc. So you can read those notes at your leisure. I also want to make this element look the same as the other one. So I'm just going to use the layout ribbon. So go across to the ribbons, layout ribbon. With that motorist selected, I'm going to use in the style panel this little paint pickup here. Pick that up, and I'll put it onto this one and paste that there. So I've got that.
So
there.
can
I
you
can
use that on text as well to apply a similar color and style to text as well
Yeah,
as
it's very flexible, Scott, and that's right. You can use it for a lot of different types of modeling constructs. We now want to add a generalization relationship. So I'm going to use the quick linker. I could also use the relationships toolbox element there, but let's use the quick linker, drag that up and put it onto motorist there and choose generalization. So we've got that there. I need to make a little bit more space there. So I'll just rearrange these a little bit. You can see now that I've got that actor in place. Now, that generalization relationship means that the premium motorist will get all of the relationships and properties of the motorist, but we'll see how we're going to extend that and put some other use cases in. So what I need to do now is just make a little bit more room in this boundary. So this is the boundary here. I'm just going to select that very easily and move that down. And I'm going to move the maintenance ones down as well, just to give myself a little bit more room. I shouldn't have moved that one down, so I'll move that one back up again. And we're going to put another use case in now for this premium actor. So let's have a look at that, and we'll put another use case in there, and we'll do that by just dropping a use case from the toolbox, and we'll call this one guaranteed space reservation. And let's get some put some notes into that as well.
So I see that the color's different again. So I take it that you can use the same layout feature and the eyedropper to change the space,
Exactly.
change coloring, and
yeah, exactly, Scott. So let's put some notes in there. Allows the premium user to reserve a specific parking spot up to 24 hours in advance. So quite a useful, feature that people might want to use. But let's do what you said. Let's use the color picker on that one and the painter there and put that across there. We need a relationship between the premium motorist and the guaranteed space, and so we'll put an association in there. And we could now look at doing this as a generalization of this book parking space here. So what I might do is put this one, move this one down, just do some slight little cosmetic changes there, and we'll put that one there and move this one across. And again, Scott, now we can put a generalization relationship in between these use cases as well. So you can see now that we've both generalized the actor. So we've got a more specialized actor, the premium motorist, which extends or specializes the motorist. And we've got a use case called guaranteed space reservation, which extends the book parking session. So there's some very useful things to do in structuring your model. Now, the other thing we want to do is look at some other relationships, and we'll look at using an include relationship. So let's put an include relationship between this pay for parking one here, and let's make that an include relationship from the process payment here. Let me just do that. Accept parking, we'll do that, and we'll put in this include relationship there. And you can see now that include relationship is there. What that means
what does the include relationship actually mean?
So it's a very moot point, this, Scott. What it actually means is when you're defining the use case and you're writing a description or the steps that are involved in the use case, you come across parts of the text which can be reused by other use cases. And so what you do is you simply take that text out and put it into another use case. And it's all about reuse, Scott, with lots of things we do in modeling. We want to reuse some of that text. So, let's put it in here for the guaranteed parking space reservation as well. Let's put a relationship in to this one as well to say that we're going to include that as well. So you can see
eventually it saves time because
exactly.
You can get rid of redundancy and everything can just point to process payment that
exactly
includes
right.
it.
Exactly right. And what the trap that people fall into, novice modelers fall into, is they think it's an opportunity to start sort of refactoring and designing how the system's going to work. It's not. And Ivar Jacobson, the gentleman that originally created the concept of use cases, stated that very clearly, that it isn't an opportunity to start designing a system. It's simply a very mechanical mechanism for ensuring reuse and stopping this redundancy. So let's have a look at something else in our use case model. We want to put another generalization, another relationship in here. So I'm just going to make some changes here. Just this one down like this, and I'm going to put a book parking session. I'm going to create some specializations in that. One of the specializations I want is a one-time booking. So when people are booking a parking session, they might be booking it for like a single time. They're just popping into a shop or a hairdresser or something. They might be booking it for an event, like a sports event, or they might be putting a recurring booking in where they turn up to, say, a yoga class every week, and they want to put a recurring booking in. So the yoga class is from 10 to 11, so they put in a recurring booking for that time. So what we're going to do is we're going to create another use case here, and we'll put another use case in here, and we'll call this one recurring booking, and one-time booking. And we'll put some notes in again, best practice to be putting those in. And let's have a look at that. And again, we'll use our friend, the paint picker, and just style that correctly. Now, this one-time booking is going to be an extension of, a specialization of the book session. So we'll do that, and we'll put in a generalization relationship between those elements. So Scott, what I'm going to get you to do now is, we've done a little bit of work, we've got a little bit of tidying up to do, but I'm going to get you to perform some of your time travel magic, and we'll get this diagram a little bit more complete, and we'll come back and we'll look at adding some steps to our use case. So if we can do some time magic travel, that would be fantastic.
Welcome back, everybody. I've performed a little bit of editing magic, and we've now got our completed parking meter use case diagram that has a number of new elements. So Stephen, perhaps you can tell us about some of the things that you've added to this diagram to make it more detailed, and to use things like extend and include and other features of use cases.
Sure, Scott. Thanks for that. Yes, we've done a little bit of work on the diagram. We're going to look at the include relationship and the generalization relationship. In a future video, we're going to be looking at the extend relationship and a number of other parts of this diagram. But what you can see is it's starting to look a lot more detailed. We left off with this book parking session use case that was being specialized into a one-time booking. We had event booking and recurring booking, but notice that the recurring booking is not available to the motorist. It is, however, available to the premium motorist. And so the premium motorist has got this guaranteed space reservation use case, and also the recurring booking. We've also added another actor down here, which is the parking inspector, who's got use cases to check the parking status, to issue infringements, and they have got an include relationship to record violation. And you can see all the notes that are in there. Verify vehicle registration, a mandatory validation step during infringement processing to check the registration. And you can see that we've added another two system actors, which are obviously external to our system, the notification system and the vehicle registry system. If that notification system was part of our system, then it wouldn't be represented like this at all. It would just be another actor, but it is an external system. So what we're going to look at now is a really interesting feature of Enterprise Architect, which is the definition of scenarios. One thing we're going to do now is we're going to go and look at another window. So let's have a look up here at the Start Ribbon, the All Windows panel, and let's have a look here, and we can look through a number of different items on these panels, which allow us to get directly to particular windows. So this is all about design, and we have another properties one here, and you can see under properties we've got responsibilities. So I'm going to open up the responsibilities window there, and you can see that that's popped up there, and we have a number of tabs or panels across the top here: requirements, constraints, and scenarios. So we can add scenarios at this point here, and we can also add them from the design ribbon as well. And you can see under the elements panel, we have a scenarios item as well. But let's put one in here, and we'll say basic path. We'll put that in there, and the type is going to be the basic path. And you notice, Scott, that what pops up here is, and I'll just drag that across a little bit. We don't have any notes in that at the moment. We'll put some notes in there. But we've got this edit button. Let's press that, and you can see that this scenarios window opens up. So if you're familiar at all with use cases, you'll know that the use cases allow us to put scenarios in there. What I would recommend you to do, though, is in this notes section here, is to put in some details about what that particular basic path is about, and we'll call it the sunny day scenario. Where, and I'll just continue that in a little bit, but I'm just encouraging people to be able to put some notes in there. We'll fill that out in a little bit. Let's get into the main part of this step here. So what we can do is we can put some details in here, and let's have a look at that. And we'll do this basic path. I'm just going to get some details about that particular one. And so what we're going to do is put in a description, it's like a tennis game or a table tennis game between the actor and the system. So let's put in a step here, and it says the motorist approaches the physical parking meter and presses the start button. So you can see there also that the word motorist is underlined, and we'll come back to that as well. So let's have a look at another step now. And
so I'm assuming the sunny day scenario is where everything works, everything goes right, and it's exactly how the system is intended to operate.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Scott. That's a very good summary. Obviously in the real world, things can go wrong. The meter can, behave in a particular way. The motorist, the user may not do the right thing. So we'll look at that again in a future video. But let's put another item in here. I'll just drag this across. We've got the flexibility of moving these panels across a little bit. And here we can see the system displays welcome, enter your vehicle registration number on the meter screen. And we'll just put a full stop on that. So you can see here that what we've got is the enterprise architect is numbering these steps as we're going along. And it's also putting in a little visual indicator that the first step is done by a user, the next one done by the system. And that's being activated by the words that are inside the text of that description. So let's have a look.
So are they defined in the glossary, Stephen, or?
Yeah, they are, Scott. So let's have a look at that. They can be defined in the glossary, or also just in the motorist one might be defined in the. We have a look at that. It's in the glossary there. So you're right. That's picking it up from the glossary, and the vehicle there is in the glossary as well. But they can come from another element as well. So let's have a look at that. So we're going to continue that down, and let's just finish this off. I think we'll just put in the rest of the text as we're going. So it's a sort of, like I said, it's a kind of table tennis game between the system and the actor, and in this case the actor is the one that initiated, which is quite common in a use case model. The other thing while I'm doing this, Scott, is that there's a lot of robust debate, I call it robust debate, between people talking about the difference between use cases and user stories. At one level, they're very similar things. If I wasn't to put these steps in, but just to have the notes in here for the basic path, then it would be very similar to a user story diagram that's just representing the value that someone wants without any of the steps of what the system's doing. So at this point here, we've come to a point where we've said, you know, the motorist approaches the meter displays this welcome message, the motorist enters their vehicle registration, the system validates the registration format, and you can see, remember, there was a connection out to another system. The motorist presses the required time button, so how many hours or what time they wanted to be parking for. The system calculates and the cost and displays the total cost here. Now, this step here, I can link to another use case. So I'm going to link to an included use case, and in this case here we have our use cases, and I think we're going to want the process payment use case. So let's have a look and see if we can find a process payment use case or something. Process payment, there it is. And so I can link to that use case there. So I can then follow the steps from that one. I'll put in some extra steps, and we'll look at this one. So now the system's displaying the occupied sign, and the motorist is going to walk away from the meter. So it's got this is an a intermediate video on the use cases. We've covered a number of things here. We've looked at the scenario editor there, and we started by creating generalization relationships between actors and use cases. So you can see the premium motorist was a specialization of the motorist, and these other use cases, one-time booking, event booking, and recurring booking, were specializations of the book parking session there. And we've got a connection there to the process payment. And then we said, okay, we need to define some of the steps as well. So we did that in the scenario window there, and you can see that that's describing all of the steps and the little indicators on the left-hand side indicating whether it's an actor or a system doing it. I encourage you, we do have some other videos that are coming up on this topic, both the advanced and the expert videos. So look out for those videos, and we'll continue the story about the use case model in Enterprise Architect in those videos.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Stephen. It's been great to see how the use cases come together using include and some of the formatting techniques that have been applied, and how easy it is to take a use case and add scenarios and really build out on that. I'd like to encourage everyone that's watching today that you can go back and have a look at some of the basic use case features from the Sparx Systems YouTube channel, and there are also many videos that cover all aspects of the parking meter system, how to design it, how to build it, and so we encourage you to have a look at all of our videos that we've recorded in the past. If you have any questions for Stephen, you can reach out via his LinkedIn and website credentials that are listed in the webinar description below. Thank you for your time, Stephen, and look forward to seeing this example being extended and built upon in some of the future videos. Thank you.
Always a pleasure to be here, Scott.